Hello friends and family. Today my editor will be asking me some questions. My video editor will be asking me some questions about human behavior and asking for my input and my thoughts on the question. Stay tuned.
Question 1. How do you expect people to act after an unhealthy relationship?
After an unhealthy relationship, I believe when someone is in a trauma bond, if someone's in an unhealthy relationship, it's most likely that they're in a trauma bond. A trauma bond is when you feel that you can't be without that particular person or that particular individual, when it's not actually the love binding you together, it's the trauma, it's the continuous highs and lows, it's the attachment, and mainly it's due to the childhood attachment that you had as a child and what you're used to. So you're most likely going to feel that the person that you're with in an unhealthy relationship, that you've been through a lot of trauma with, that you're continuously having up and downs, clashes, fights with, you're going to feel that that's like home, because that's what you experienced as a young individual, as a child. Sometimes in traumatic relationships, that's not always the case, because sometimes childhood differs from what you crave now in the relationship, but you're so used to unhealthy relationships maybe in the past, or you're so used to the relationship that you were in that you feel like it's finally home. You're addicted to the making up, the reconciliation after the breakups, after the fights. That's what you're addicted to. So you're not in love, you're in a traumatic bond, you're in a traumatic, unhealthy relationship. And you ask me what I feel that happens after you finally decide to break up in this relationship or separate yourself. You're most likely, in most cases, they end up getting back together, which leads to chaos. It doesn't get any better as you might think. It only might be a slight, very low % chance that someone was most likely to get into a relationship again and have it effectively be successful. And what mainly happens if you do decide to cut it off permanently, you have withdrawal symptoms, just as you'll have with any drug. You'll feel that you can't live without that person, you can't live without that relationship, and you're only going to remember the good things, the so-called good things that was probably an act, because that's what you're used to, that's what you think you need. And everything that is negative, or the chaos, or the trauma, or the red flags, they're gonna run out your brain, because you're not going to be thinking about that, because you're thinking about what you're addicted to. Same way when you're addicted to a drug, you're not thinking about all the side effects, all the physical harm it's doing to your mind and body, because you want that high. You're thinking about that addiction that makes you feel good. And that's what happens after a traumatic relationship and an unhealthy relationship. You want it back, but it's best to let go. You don't want to get back in that.
Question 2. Why do you believe people tend to lie?
I believe the root cause for lying is fear and the emotional surge to lie, due to fearing embarrassment, fearing being punished, fearing being judged, fearing being disliked. I guess it's all to do with fear. Sometimes it's white lies, sometimes it's major lies. I'm not saying necessarily all of them are right, but if you put it in the sense that sometimes lies, if it's to benefit someone, what I want to actually make a video about soon as well is whether lying is bad in all situations, or if in order to help someone something, or in order to do right, is it right? But that's a video for another topic. I also will be making a video about how to tell if someone's lying. Moving on, Yeah, I think I basically summarized the fact that it's due to fearing something, fearing rejection, fearing embarrassment, fearing not be able to get your way, fearing being punished, fearing not getting the answer you want or getting the outcome that you want. I believe that's why humans lie.
Question 3. Why do you feel that people get angry?
I feel humans feel angry when they have a sense of powerless formed inside them, when they feel they have no power, when they feel they have no source of control, when they feel helpless, when they feel they cannot do something they want to do, which is all a summary of power. But what I'm trying to explain is sometimes you have power, there's certain things you can do, but there's this one particular thing you want done in that moment which you cannot get to, which you cannot access, and all you have for yourself to do at that point is release something inside you. And in that moment, the only thing you can release is what you have in you. And in that moment, you have anger in you, so you will release it, you'll lash out. I'm not saying it's necessarily true that it's something good to do, but sometimes I believe when you feel the need to unleash something within your body and it's out of your control, what can you really do? It doesn't justify aggressive, unjust, violent behaviors, but what I can say and what I can justify that behind anger, there is always sadness. Behind every anger outburst, behind every outrage, behind every sort of trigger you see in someone that you don't understand why they're behaving that way, there's grief. And when that grief is unresolved and unattended and unwanted and unrecognized, it has no option other than to turn itself into anger. And that's why I believe therapy is really, really, really important for everyone. But not everyone has access to it. Not everyone knows how to control or tame themselves, because not everyone likes to be angry. And I can assure you, 99% people don't want to feel angry, don't like feeling angry. They don't like feeling that helplessness of not being able to control their emotions. And I know it's common that if you master your emotions, you're the most powerful person ever. And who doesn't want power? Who doesn't want to feel good? But sometimes it's easier said than done. You want to stop, you want to not get angry, but you can't help it. And I believe some people that tend not to get angry or the least calm are actually the most dangerous, because they're hiding it and they don't want to unleash their inner demon. And I think it's just instinctively normal to be angry, but it doesn't, yet again I repeat, justify wrongdoings.
Question 4. How do you think we influence people and people influence us?
I believe that in the society that we're living in, and in most cultures, in most countries over the world, it's a human instinct, human behavior to like something that someone else likes, or to not like something that someone else likes. And sometimes you're in the middle, and it's really, really rare. Sometimes it's those particular trendsetters, those particular people that have their own thought. But subconsciously, what I've realized, when there's a particular thing, person, trend, song, whatever not, that someone likes or majority likes, you will slowly drift into that. For example, I've seen a YouTube video of someone doing something, for instance, rapping, singing, and I looked at it and I thought, oh, that's really good. But then I started reading the comments, and it was a lot of backlash, a lot of people saying, criticizing and judging, and it made me feel that slowly I started picking up on what they're saying and actually feeling the same way. And what I want to tell you is that your natural perception of something will always change to the majority around you subconsciously. Sometimes you don't even want to do it, and it's so common. Everyone follows things from other people. Everyone sees, that's how we survive, that's how we adapt, that's how we do things, that's how we change. And without change, not everything is necessary. I'm not necessarily saying it's okay to make someone feel bad, but I feel everyone is entitled to their opinion, and however they portray that, however they put that across to the world, is on them. it's not necessarily nice to be negative or be unjust or not positive about something, but I believe other people have a massive impact on how people think, judge things, and how people can manipulate you or even persuade you into thinking into a different perspective or a different way. And it's very common in human nature, and it's not necessarily meaning that you're getting manipulated. If you're getting persuaded because that person generally feels that way, it's pretty normal. So that's why I say one man's loss is another man's treasure. One person that is unattractive to someone is really, really, really attractive to someone else. The human brain is a confusing concept. It's more than just one. There's links, there's triggers, there's so much that we don't even know about ourselves yet. But I do believe other people's perceptions and opinions have a massive impact on the way you think. Okay friends, that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed.